the story about the woman who said she had two dads who were both monsters? When Laura was 4 years old, her father went to prison for stabbing her, which left her and her 3 siblings all alone. They went into the system and were eventually adopted by this man and his wife. Laura said her home life wasn't that great, but she was grateful that she had her siblings with her, except things would get a little weird around the house. Laura remembers when she was elementary school age, her adopted father would give them all Benadryl so that they can go to sleep at night. And she would wake up in the middle of the night to him standing over her bed, and she would fall right back to sleep. By the time she became a teenager, things became a little bit more strange. The adopted mother and father pulled the girls to the side to shave their heads because she said it will make them less attractive to him. Laura grew up, moved out, started living on her own, and eventually got married. When she was 21, she got a call from her adopted father who said he needed to come by and speak with her, and she said, "Sure, come over." When he came over, he sat down in front of her and started crying as he looked at her and told her, "I'm in love with you." She immediately responded, "I love you too, Dad." And he said, "No, I'm in love with you. I want to marry you." Of course, she was weirded out, but he just reminded her to come to dinner at the house on Sunday, and then he left. Laura freaked out. She called her husband to tell him what happened, and he dismissed her. And then she called her sister to tell her what happened, and her sister believed her, and her sister was equally as freaked out. As they sat there and they talked on the phone about what they should do next, they decided to go see their mom and tell her what happened. When they got to their childhood home, they met with their mother outside in the backyard so that they could have some privacy, and they told her everything about what their adopted father had said. She was visibly upset, and she told them that she would handle it, and they knew to leave because those fights that they remembered from their childhood were very brutal. Laura goes home and curls up in her bed, crying and afraid. Her adopted mother calls her the next day and says, "I did it. I kicked him out. He's gone." And Laura asked her, "Where did he go?" And she says, "I don't know." Laura says after that she spaced out. She didn't answer anyone's calls or texts. She saw that her mother was texting her, asking her, "Do you blame me? Are you mad at me?" She wasn't ready to talk about it yet, so she didn't. About 4 weeks goes by and she decides she's ready to talk about it. So she calls up her adopted mother, but the phone was disconnected. The same phone number that they had had since the 90s, she was confused. So she called her sister up and they took a ride by the house. And when they got there, there was a big U-Haul truck outside. They drove away confused, trying to figure out what's going on. So they went home and they decided to do some digging on Facebook. From a family member's Facebook post, they learned that their adoptive mother and father did not break up. And instead, they took their little brother to move out of state and live on a compound. This happened when Laura was 21. And she says since that day, she's never seen her mother, her father, or her little brother ever again. I'm Te-Erika with the T. Follow for more.